So you are so close to going all in on your beauty business, whether you have another job or whether you're doing beauty services already, but you don't like them and you want to do another one. I just want to tell you, you are missing one thing, and it is not your content. It's not your website. It is not your skill. And you definitely don't suck at this. So just want to make that clear. This is going to be a bit of a rant video, but an inspirational one. So who is this for? If you are working a job that you don't love and you're driving it and you're dreading it, or if you are already doing beauty services and you're doing them part-time and maybe you're doing like hair or nails or bridal, but you secretly really want to go all in on something else like permanent makeup or fine line tattooing or nails or something else, anything else, and you're not happy there. It's also for people who have like a part-time job or like a nighttime job and you're doing like your beauty business in the day and your other part-time job at night and you're just like, so much going on. I want all in on my beauty business. That's what this is for. And whether you're doing one service or multiple services, like this is for all of that. If you're doing multiple services, this will work even better. It's one thing that's missing. It's a system. It's a system. So, and when it's put in place, I hope that it proves to you that you're not doing like everything wrong. We've all had those like late night spirals of like, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. And you are right. 80% of people who open up a beauty business quit after their first year. 80%. I want to fix that because it's heartbreaking because we have dreams and I don't want that to die. But if one piece is missing and you don't know what it is, that's what this is right now. So why can I speak to this? Well, my name is Melissa, and a bit about me. Just so you know where I'm coming from, I once built $1 million business, but it ended up failing and I had to rebuild from scratch. I also had to rebuild from scratch this year. I'm like survival mode expert at this point. I have been in the beauty industry myself for 13 years. I started in makeup and then I did hairstyling for weddings, brows, lashes, permanent makeup. And then I went on at 28 years old to co-own a medical aesthetics college. We did laser, nails, waxing, so all of those services in aesthetics. I'm familiar with all of the services. And then I produced over 15 online training programs there. And why I can tell you there's one thing missing is because about a year and a half ago, I launched an experiment and I've worked with over 100 beauty professionals in order to find, because of my own survival needs, what is the simplest, most predictable way to get and keep cash flow for predictability, so that way we can all breathe and we know exactly how money comes in, but also what makes it not. So that way if it breaks, you can fix it. And I make these videos because I had to start over twice in the last 2 years. So I really do know what it feels like to have to need the business to work right now without burning out, especially if you're doing like 2 jobs too. And these videos are for female founders who are in beauty or in tattooing. It works there too, but especially for those of you in survival mode. That's where you are at the stage, no matter if you're new or 10 years in, where you just need faces in the door for whatever reason. And you want the fastest path to get there with the least amount of risk. That means like the least amount of money investment, like the least amount of putting it up to chance and fate. So if that's where you're at, you are definitely in the right place. And my North Star, again, is stability first, growth second. Growth comes from the stability. Whether you're new, restarting, or suddenly stuck, I hope you all feel like you belong here with me. You're in good company. I will share real results and real stories about people who have like quit their jobs and gone all in, but nothing here is a guarantee. I can never make any promises. I don't believe anybody should, especially in marketing. So let's dive in. And just as a disclaimer, I will share from my point of view. I don't know everything and you can disagree and that's perfectly fine. You can take what helps and feel free to leave what doesn't. So the big idea, you're just missing one thing. So let me explain. That one thing is not perfect content. I have had feeds where I've launched this one system. We have 12 posts and I'm not kidding. We had one client and we cut her up into 6 different posts. We used one client on the feed and we were able to make good money on that feed with less than 100 followers and only 9 posts at the time. She did not have a website. She just made her logo. She put together a brand. It was just like new, just what we wanted it to be. And what's great is that this one thing that's missing, you could be like 5 out of 10 on content. If you're a 0 out of 10, maybe we got to do a little bit of skill leveling up, but like before and after photos are perfectly fine. And that's why I like the system, is because I am not someone who can do the same thing every day, day in and day out. I'm very ADHD, creative, go with the flow. So I really try to make as much space in my week as possible and create as much time freedom with mindless systems that do work, because I've spent a year and a half trying to make them. So the work has gone in before. But if you have experience and you already have before and after photos and you have skill, I want to make sure that you have skill. If you're doing facials, not as important. If you're doing tattooing, I would caution you to not use this if you're still getting like blowouts, and if your work still needs work. Everyone is at their own stage, but I don't want to rapidly bring you in a bunch of clients. And you can ask your trainer for feedback. But the sweet spot of right now, if you have a job, is that you have a job and the bills are covered, or mostly, and that you can be patient and not desperate. Because while this system is consistent and predictable, I'm not the kind of person that's going to say, I'm going to guarantee you 20 clients in your first month and you're going to make 30 grand. There are other companies that do that, and you can talk to them and see if they feel right. I'm not going to talk about that. But we could do realistically like 4 to 10 clients in the first month, but they will be at a discount. And I have a discount rant. If you don't believe in discounts, I have a what if I refuse to lower my prices rant. So you can check those out too. Not trying to say you have to believe me, but if you want to quit your job, like, it's a strategy as opposed to like a devaluing thing. I'll save those for the other videos. But if you can be patient and not desperate, you're in a really good spot. So you're actually in a really advantageous position, which is why I'm making this video, is because you're so close to getting it right. So so it's a simple system. It brings in cheap leads through ads, and the ads are $5 a day, $35 a week, $150 a month. We spend no more. Other companies will say spend 10, spend 20, and they're not wrong. It's just a higher risk. They do a different game. We all play different games. This is the game I play. What the system is designed to do. We need more conversations. So I'm trying to create like the fastest path to the revenue and bypass everything else we don't have to do. So we want a simple system to bring in cheap leads. We want to have a conversation with those leads. I'm not talking about pressuring people into sales. Just want to clear the air on that one right now. I'll tell you about my kind of like human, most ethical approach. And what we want to do is turn those leads into conversations into bookings. And then here's the thing, we want to turn those bookings into repeat clients and referrals and cross-sells and upsells. That's where the magic happens, but it starts with the simple system. We got to start with the predictability to quit the job. And I wouldn't say like have a good month and quit the job. I'd also say like, let's get predictability. I'm going to tell you some stories about people who did quit and people who are about to quit. And the reason why I have made this like ultra simple system is because I've spent 13 years overcomplicating it. I can't tell you how many redesigns of my website, new funnels I've launched, which is like landing pages and video sales letters and different strategies. And the problem that I've had myself is shiny object syndrome, where I'm like, ooh, that course is going to be the magic thing that fixes everything. That thing is going to be the magic thing that fixes everything. And I've invested over $30,000 into courses and over $100,000 into agencies. And so take my $130,000 worth of debt from banking on myself. That's not a bad thing. For me to come down to, all right, I just need to make $1. What's my fastest path and what requires like the least amount of mental strain so I can actually have space in my life to do the things I love, including like my clients. I prefer to spend time with my dog. That's why I do it. I want more space because I actually like the creative stuff. I like redoing my websites. It's just not going to make me $1 right now, so I'm not going to do it. I've had to restart from scratch 3 times, and I've lived through the most volatile, like the highs are cool because they make you feel really good, but they make it feel like it's going to last forever. But if you don't understand why it happened and how to recreate it, that's where we run into the volatility. That is the most stressful part. And I will tell you, I've been doing permanent makeup for 9 years. I've been in the beauty industry for 13. To trainer who had 1 million hits on a video, like 200,000 hits on a video, like very consistently in the hundreds of thousands. And I was like, hey, Happy New Year. How are things going? What are your goals? She's like, I really wish I could get 10 students. I'm like, how do you not already? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, have you tried ads? She's like, I can't afford it. I'm like, that blows my mind. So the algorithm in the game Instagram wants us to play is not a money-making game. Instagram wants you to play their game. I'm trying to teach you a different game, a money-making game, but in an ethical way. We'll talk business, but I like humanity. I just really want to figure out what's predictable as much as possible. And again, I make no promises. This is just what happens. So here's story number 1. So here is a fine line tattoo artist, which by the way is my favorite service to run. And she also offers other services. So she was barely clearing $1,000 a month. She was doing fine line tattoos and freckles and permanent makeup. It takes her 15 minutes to do a tiny tattoo and she charges $100. Technically, she makes $400 an hour. She is the highest paid person that I've talked to in the beauty industry for $400 an hour. Like literally $400 an hour potential. She had the skills and she had beautiful pictures and she wasn't brand new, but she was only clearing $1,000 a month. And she has a part-time job, or not a part-time job, it's a full-time job, but she works like, I think it's like 3:30 to midnight. So she's 3:30 to midnight and she goes to the gym every day at 11. Like she's a dedicated, hardworking person. So what was missing? It was just the lead flow and the conversation and the system to book them. Like we're still working on the system. She's not quitting her job yet because we're 2 weeks in, we're 3 weeks in. We've gotten 100 leads, 10 bookings, and she's cleared on her first week. She cleared $2,000 worth of bookings in her first week when she was barely making 1,000. She was missing one thing, and we'd been talking since February, but it took a long time for her to come to this decision in order to take a chance and learn this one thing, because it's very scary to try something new. And I'm so glad she did because it worked so well for her. So she was just missing one thing. So we made the right ads. I made them for her because I like the ad to be consistent. Like there's nothing special about the ad. It's not about the ad. Like there's no magic ad. Like in fact, I bring in like the worst leads on purpose, because if we can convert the worst leads into clients, you have a magic skill that when you get good leads, you're even better. So if we can convert the bad leads, like we're in a good spot. Then we have the system to convert. This week she was overwhelmed because she had so much. So what we did is when we met, we made her workflow easier so she can actually accommodate, because if it's overwhelming and you're getting like 40 leads a week and then you're just so tired you can't reply, then your system breaks down. So it's one thing, but it's about learning how to make that one thing work for yourself and grow and predictable. And like sometimes, like she actually was like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't get any leads the other day. She doesn't know what to expect. I will tell her that's perfectly normal. If you go 4 days without a lead, let me know. But one day, totally fine. Like that's a rabbit hole for another day. But then now, once we get that going, I'm not telling her when to quit her job. I said, let's wait at least 2 months and see how things go, because what I want to get in place is not just getting in the fine line tattoo people, but it's like, what are her mathematical equations for every 10 fine line people we bring in, how many of them will buy another service at full price, like her permanent makeup, eyebrows, or whatever. Actually, one lead came in and didn't buy a fine line tattoo, but she did buy brows. That was amazing too. So once we get the predictability of the first service going, we don't launch ads for all the other services because you're going to die with all the messages, but we keep the customers. We keep them because in the world that's coming up, where there's never been more competition, and in permanent makeup, the permanent makeup industry, dying is too strong of a word. There's tons of competition. It's now harder. It's a different game. We are no longer in the era of 2020 to 2022 where reels were king. Now it's like people are desperately making reels, but nothing's happening. We need to shift the strategy. Social media, I like the term, I heard something. This is a rant, so I'm going to go on rants. Not social media, but interest media. So we are now thinking about loyal fans as opposed to maximum like 200,000 people. Like that does not get you money. In fact, you could actually probably find a lot of arguments to say that people who get content famous, they often like launch a product, but they've been so focused on getting the attention that their product sucks. People buy it once and then they never buy from them again. And then they ruin their entire brand. Like I've heard that story. Sorry, it's not funny. Gosh, why am I laughing? I'm a terrible person. So yeah, we want to bring people back and get the referral strategy. So once we get this flowing, we're going to systemize so that it's the system that keeps compounding her business. So I want to also talk about the lead volume, because some people are getting in like 4 leads a month and they're like, oh, everyone gives me pricing objections. This is going to happen. So I want to just reiterate, she got 90 leads and 10 bookings. Think about the inverse. That means she got 80 no's. She got 80 versions of ghosting or pricing objections or rejection of some kind. That is normal. So the thing that's missing, I would say, in the business is volume. Not necessarily the best leads. You're just missing volume of leads because we need to have enough practice conversations to optimize like a script. We need lead volume, and getting rejected is normal. So I have been in this situation where I'm like, oh gosh, and literally 2 weeks ago, I was like, okay, I have to redo my website. I definitely have to redo my website. And it's a discipline to put the blinders on and be like, no, I just need to message my lead and post a story. That's literally all I have to do. Everything else, my ADHD brain wants to do because I like doing websites, but I have not taken action on it yet because I know that it's not going to make me $1 today. Its day will come. It's not today. Another thing that we think that I hear, oh my gosh, there's this one girl from Australia and she does lip blush. And I'm not kidding. I am a perfect candidate for lip blush because I do the lip filler. I like putting lip gloss on. I like a little bit more upper lip definition, but not overlining. And I saw her work and I was like, damn, if I was in Australia, I'd come see you for sure. And she's like, I don't know. I think my photo quality, my work is not that good. I looked at her and I look at a lot of people's stuff. I'm like, girl, that is not your problem. It is wonderful. So when she turned on her ads, at first they weren't working. We actually had to do a bit of troubleshooting. She finally figured out Australian market is just different. So what I gave her out of the box didn't work, but she was smart, like a lot of you are, and she made some tweaks. And she messaged me. She's like, I turned my ads on for 3 days and I got 12 clients and I had to turn them off because I was so overwhelmed. And I was like, oh my God, what a good problem to have. So it's like it definitely wasn't her photos. It was missing the conversations. The other thing, the algorithm. You're not getting clients because of the algorithm. You know what? That's true because the algorithm, that's not what it's designed for. The algorithm is designed to get people consuming as much content as possible. The algorithm is not your partner when it comes to getting clients. It's a partner for getting reach. It's not a partner for reaching buyers. That's the difference. So I don't play the algorithm game. I have launched, and I'll tell you this story. I've had my Instagram profile since like 2015 and it's got like 5,000 followers, 4,000, whatever. It's got followers. And so I'm doing business consulting, but I'm also doing permanent makeup. I'm like, I can't do both on one page. Which one do I make a new page for? Well, I decided to do permanent makeup page because I was like, how much does like credibility and stuff have an impact? So I launched a new page. I put 9 posts up. I launched some ads, and within 3 weeks, keep in mind my skill set of 5 years in digital marketing. Within 3 weeks on a brand new page with less than 70 followers and 9 posts, I closed $3,500 in sales. So that's what's missing. It's conversations. We try to get followers so that way we get people to book. If you're trying to get people to book on your booking link, I will have a whole separate rant on that because it's math. Like if you look at the math, I will do a math video. No one loves math, but the math is if we can get the most conversations in the DMs for the cheapest, we play the volume game so you can learn the skills with the least amount of risk because we're only doing $5 a day. So you're just missing a volume of conversations. So, and if you have limited conversations, like you're only getting 10 leads a month, then yeah, getting 9 no's is going to feel like failure. You just don't have enough volume. Like that's it. That's the only thing you're missing. If you get 90 leads and you get 80 no's, you still have 10 clients. That's what we like. And not even counting in clients, I count in revenue for sure. And we want to make that stable and growing. Here's another story. So she was a bride makeup artist and she just started doing brows and permanent makeup. She's really skilled for a new person. Actually, she's really skilled for like across the board, but especially for a new person. But she had a courier route. So imagine she's doing bridal and she's been doing bridal for years. And as someone who did bridal makeup, the challenges with bridal makeup is the 1-hour brush cleaning party that you have by yourself the night before, cleaning brushes. I'm talking, I have like 100 brushes to clean. And then you go and you wake up at 3 a.m. to do a 1-hour drive to get there. Everyone's tired and the expectations are really high because it's someone's wedding day. And then you get the mother of the bride. And then the first time you do a grandmother and you're like, I really want to make you look pretty, but you just asked for blue eyeshadow and hot pink lipstick. So I'm not sure what to do. There's a lot of issues in bridal makeup and I get it if you don't want to do it anymore. Very much so. So she wanted to do permanent makeup and quit a career job. So But her bridal business fully took over. And that's like nothing to do with her fault. Business is just hard sometimes. But she wanted to do PMU more than bridal, which is why we focused on that. So what we did is we launched our PMU ads and we focused on high volume of conversations, really cheap leads, simple DM system, because I've had the scripts that I've been working on and testing. Like you can definitely wing it, but the reason why I stopped I used to give people these ads for free and kind of see what happened, but because like the results were so inconsistent, I ended up having a lot of people say like, oh, ads don't work for me. This doesn't work for me. And I'm like, different mindset. I don't know how to make this work for me yet. So there was too many of that going on. And while I fully believe in this system, if I break someone's belief in the system because I don't give them enough direction, then I'm harming them because they might literally quit their business or invest $10,000 into something else hoping it's going to fix it. So that's why I don't do it that way anymore. Side tangent, back to the main quest. And what we did is she did pretty well on her own with what I gave her. And in those 2 months, she quit her courier job. And it was not from magic. I'm not saying I have a magic system. Like, honestly, when I plop it into a market, every region is different and the location matters and the service matters a lot. So it's like we open the box, it's 70% ready, but over 8 weeks, we make it like 90%. And then you keep understanding how to pivot and make it work. Like, you got to understand. It's like if laser hair removal machine, they drop off the machine, you don't just pick it up and start using it. You go through training. There's a certain way you have to, and every machine is different. Like, you have to go through the training, you burn some people, like, you actually go through a little bit of a learning process, but a year later, you're the fastest laser person there, and then you can charge them. So it is volume of conversation so we can build the skill together. Why I care so much about this. So I am a jumper, I am a risk taker, I am a go all inner, I am a spontaneous shopper, and I've bought the courses and I've gone all in on stuff multiple times, and I have 13 years of hits and misses. And that's what I'm talking about today is not everything works out. And so I've been in situations where I've gone all in on myself and worked so hard, and like, I'm a hard worker. I've gone through a 2-year season of like 12 hours, 7 days a week. And I'd take a day off when I couldn't think. And that was probably like once a month. And that day was dreadful because I felt like I was going to fail. So that was my building season, and that didn't fix it. So it's not like volume of work is going to fix the stability problem, because I tried that. It definitely moved mountains. It definitely did great things. I don't regret it. I'd do it again. I'm in a building season again, but different. I want things to not be fragile. I want things that when you go through a life crisis, you can cut everything except for the tiniest little thing that's going to keep you safe. That's why I'm talking in this way about the system. And then the other problem that I had is things would break. Like, I was doing e-commerce and we were getting Google Ads leads to a website, and my job was not to run the ads, which is why I don't focus so much on the ads. My job is making sure that leads turn into money. And I talk about business in this kind of logical, like, salesy way, but the way I do it is from a very empathetic place, relationship building, because I used to do fake countdown timers that reset every Wednesday, always running a 70% off discount on the front end, like doing things like that. But like, if we had $100,000 month and the next month we made $60,000, okay, on the surface that sounds great, but that's not good for us, because we want like steady growth. We don't want volatility, because why did it go down to 60? We didn't know what happened. So it's like, if I like give a system and set up a system, it's very important to understand like how the system works, why it breaks down, and understand, because it's very simple to understand once you understand it. It just, learning doesn't happen in like a 1-hour training. I'm sure you've taken a million YouTube videos and courses and you're still stuck. It's the same thing. Don't deviate from the main quest. Get better and better and better, but like, learn it inside and out, just like you learn your services. But you got to know how to do the service really well in order for it to continue to work. And I want to help people like not quit too early, and also not quit their job like recklessly, or quit their other services like recklessly, as much as like I've done that. And like, if you do it, like, I don't judge you, because I do it too, because sometimes you just can't take it anymore. But what I really want to help people with, if they're in that position where they hate their job, or they're tired of doing those services and something else is really calling to them, they're passionate about something else, they really are curious about something else, I want it to be systemized and safe. That's why I kind of made this video. So now, take it or leave it. I don't want to give you direction. Don't quit just yet, but don't blame yourself for why you're stuck there either. So don't necessarily just quit your job and go all in, although I've done it, so like, I'm not going to judge you. I would encourage you to have the system in place, a system, whether it's like what I just talked about, whether it's something else. I would just hope that whatever you go into, you understand it well enough as opposed to talking to an agency. They're going to charge you like $1,000 a month and run $600 a month on ads. So you are $1,600 in the hole before you can even like make money, and you don't really understand why things are working or not working. I like education. I like learning. I like doing things myself. I like having that control. I basically set out on this mission like 7 years ago that I wanted an online digital scalable business, but really I wanted to learn the skill of making money, but through my own values, which are financial stability and connection. Those two things. So that's why countdown timers don't fit in my world anymore. Because the reality is like agencies can work, like for sure. I'm not bashing any partner. I've worked with tons of people. They're very smart. It's just there's different levels of risk you have to take on, whether it's a knowledge risk or lack of knowledge risk, or whether it's a financial risk, like a lot of money. Because a lot of places, and they're true, like if they're optimizing for good quality leads, it will take 90 days for sure. And you do have to be patient and ride it out. But that means that you could be like $5,000 in the hole before you start to get the momentum that you need to survive. So I'm a survival mode person. So some agencies, they bring you leads. Some do help you convert them. Some put like an appointment DM setter. I've seen those. They don't know your service as well as you do. So they're very much like copy paste, like anyone can do it. Like you could hire your own virtual assistant to do that. I've worked with AI bots and I've made an AI bot. So it's not my first choice, to be honest. But I think the fastest path to either quitting the job that you don't like or retiring from the services that you don't like, oh, I didn't even tell the other story about one girl who moved cities across the country, didn't want to do hair anymore. She had a lot of experience and she wanted to do permanent makeup. We posted 9 things on her wall. We launched her cash flow ads. And in the first week, she got 8 clients. And then the next week she posted 2 of her own posts, and then she had absolutely no bookings. And we were like, oh my God. And I panicked. So I analyzed everything that was going on in her business. I found one thing. We tweaked 2 posts on her feed. I'm not kidding. We tweaked the captions. And after that, she had solid bookings for the next 90 days, and she booked 53 clients in 90 days. And so she stopped doing hairstyling. So she quit those services. It's not about posting more. I actually, if someone's going through a hot streak, I'm like, don't post. I'm like, pause. Let's just ride this out. Like you could probably, like the girl who quit her courier job, like she didn't post again for like 2 months. And that's when it started to tank. So we kind of learned like, how long can a post live there? How long can I go without posting? Like these are very interesting questions to me because it offloads the work. I'd rather quality content than like keep posting for the sake of posting. I see that as good skill development, but I don't see that as a way to make money today. So I'm not saying it's not a worthwhile thing to do to like make content and post every day, but I do see that it's a good skill to keep learning and improving, but not something that's going to save you and help you quit your job within the next however long. So I did say I was going to talk a little bit about the sales kind of thing. So nobody that I talk to likes the word sales because we kind of have an idea about what it is. So what I used to do versus what I do now in the philosophy of sales, the shift, I used to do very tacticky stuff like 70% front end discounts on the website, countdown timer, 50% off everywhere. The countdown timers were fake. I literally manually reset the countdown timer myself on the back end. Fun fact, that's how a lot of internet like countdown timers work unless you have certain like Shopify plugins and stuff. Very interesting. So it did work. It didn't feel good and I got stuck. Like we did that for 3 years. And then when we turned ads off, we had no more customers. Because we didn't focus on keeping our customers. So it worked, but it wasn't good enough. It made $1 million, but it never profited. So it's like there's so many things I do differently now. So now what I do is like I sell with empathy and humanity. And I really leverage the relationships. I think my favorite longest reviews come from when we have the best chats. And that one person I told you who does fine lines and freckles, and she was barely clearing 1,000, and then she booked 2,000 in her first week. She's like, it takes me like 15 minutes to tattoo, but then I talk. So like really then my appointments go over to like 20 minutes and maybe I should talk less. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, your magic skill, she's such a big heart. I'm like I want that to flourish and have as much time as possible. Like even if it only takes you 10 minutes to tattoo, but that appointment's 30 minutes because you're designing the experience of it. Like I love that concept. So relationships over tricks and like very clean, simple strategies, as opposed to like really like long funnels. Like by funnel, I mean like add to landing page, lead capture form, and like also starts a messenger conversation, and you have like an SMS flow, and then you have a booking bot. Like that's very complicated. Does it work? Yes. Does it require help? Yes. Does it require more money? Yes. Will it work? Yes. But is it a appropriate choice for someone in survival? I would not pick it. That's all I'm saying. I would grow into it once I was stable, and then I would experiment with it because I felt secure. So core reframe. It's not you and it's not your content. You don't need to redo your website or redesign anything. And please don't think that you suck. You're probably actually really good. And what you're really missing is the volume of leads for a very cheap price and a simple system that you can learn and perfect. That's not complicated. It's also not about like posting like 3 cute Instagram photos a day. Like, it's not going to fix immediately. For me, it's all about having enough conversations to learn and refine, all for the purpose of surviving so you can get the cash flow and you can grow and you can feel secure and confident and safe and like stably quit the job or shift over when you want to. And getting predictable client flow, it could take like as soon as like a couple days, but it could also take as long as like 14 days. Typically we get like really consistency within like, I'd say like 90 days, but it's not like 90 days of waiting for cash flow. It's like, okay, we do 1,000 in the first month and 2,000 in the second month, and then 3 to 4 in the third month. And then we can grow it into 5 to 6 going on. I'm not talking about like $20,000 months right now. That comes later. That's not where my system fits. My system fits if you're like, I need to pay rent right now. And then once it's stable, you don't turn it off. Like, how long do I have to run this for? If you're making money, never turn it off. If you're growing and compounding your business, don't turn it off. If it breaks, we fix it, but we don't turn it off. And then once we get that client flow, we cross-sell, we upsell. You decide what other services to learn because you have the cash flow to do it. And there's certain services that make sense. You can ask your clients, you can do what you're passionate about. There's lots of different things. And then you let the system, once you do the system manually, then you can automate it with technology. That is a conversation for another day, but it's not necessary to have all this like technology. Like you barely need nothing, like a ChatGPT Plus account. That's all we need. And $5 a day on ads. And I totally get like real life constraints like kids and responsibilities and high rent, which is why I focus on stability and cash flow. So let's wrap this up. I just want this to end on an inspirational note. You are not broken. You're not doing anything wrong. And you're definitely not doing everything wrong. It's just missing one thing, those high volume of conversations for dirt cheap. So that way you can learn how to say the right words. It helps if you have a system that already works. You can DIY it, but at the same time, I told you I stopped doing the DIY version because if it's not the system that doesn't work, it's just the patience and emotional regulation and getting guidance from someone who's seen all the problems and knows how to fix them already really makes it work faster. Because if you get tons of conversations and you don't have the skill, it's absolutely exhausting and you'll definitely quit within 30 days. Even though it can work, it's just exhausting. But if you have tons of like skill, like you're really good at like messaging people and having like good conversations like this person, but you don't have the conversations, that's why she wasn't clearing $1,000 a month. Like I gave her my DM app and stuff and she kind of went off on her own. And she crushed it all on her own. We have some fixes to do. Like, she's like, I never took any deposits. I'm like, oops. So we're going to figure that out. But still, like, she's getting a good show rate. So we're fixing things as we go. You don't have to have it perfect, which is great. And there's no magic. I don't want to promise magic, but there is a certain amount of magicalness in the combination of tons of conversations with the skill, with someone who's seen all the problems a million times before and can help you fix it, opposed to trying to bang your head over and over and have those late night anxiety spirals that I do. So if you have that sinking feeling of like, I don't like this life and I don't know what to do, and you're driving to work, pulling your hair out, and you just feel your soul getting drained day by day, that is why I made this rant. I hope it was a little inspiring or gave a little bit of relief, or at least just like hope that there could be a path forward sooner than you think, because you're on the verge. Please don't give up, and please don't like go all in on like a $30,000 program either. And I happen to have like a very unique situation where I've had to survive for so long for so many reasons because life just keeps slapping you. But I keep getting back up, and I want to help other people keep getting back up so they don't have to suffer too. If this was helpful, you can share it with a friend who's also pulling their hair out and liked it. You can give it a like. Like, I don't know if you like these rants. If you hated something, you can rant back at me in the comments, or you can positive rant at me. I don't know. You do what you want. The choice is yours. But that's it for now. You can check out, I have like a discount rant on my views on discounts, and I also have a rant on people who refuse to take clients other than if they pay full prices. So you can hear my points of view on that. And those ones, this one was inspirational. Those ones get a bit spicy, but I mean no harm. We're all in this together, and I am cheering for you no matter what.